Hi, it's Trina here, relationship and love coach. You can find me online at www.lovetrina.com. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing a series of videos on topics that I think really run parallel to relationships. So I've been talking about love and dating and relationships for a really long time. And so I want to just touch base on some of the subjects that I think really affect how we show up in our relationships. So whether it be a relationship with an intimate partner, or with a parent, or a boss, or a friend, regardless of what the relationship is, that there are a lot of things that affect how we show up in them. And so today I want to talk about the question really is, do you take life too seriously? Now, this is a question that somebody asked me recently, and I had to really think about it, but my answer is yes. For most of my life, I've taken, everything really seriously, from, relationships to my work to, just my own self. I take myself really seriously. And as I've gotten older, I've really been thinking about ways and really explored ways that I can kind of be a kid in some ways. And one of the things that I realized was that when I was a kid, that I really didn't act like a kid. I didn't give myself a chance to just play and, do the kind of things that most kids do. I remember growing up and I hated Halloween. Before my family, stopped celebrating it because they thought it was a devil's holiday. Before that happened and we were still dressing up and all of that, I never wanted to do it. Something about the costumes and all of that stuff that just made me feel like a total idiot. And so even as a kid, I just never wanted to participate in a lot of the things that normal kids did. And again, I think it was just that pressure of just not allowing myself to be a kid, not allowing myself to enjoy some of those things. And so this question that came up, do I take life too seriously? I think it's a question that a lot of working women have to ask themselves. It's like we're so busy climbing the corporate ladder, trying to find the perfect guy, trying to, go on the perfect vacation or find the perfect travel spot or whatever it is. And sometimes it's like, we're so focused on being grown and sexy and all of that. And I think that's important, but, I think a lot of us need to ask ourselves the question, do we take ourselves too seriously? And if you do, what can you do about it? Is it something that you even want to be bothered with? Do you want to, have a much more, lighthearted spirit about you? I know I do. And so this is something that, over the past, I would say year or so, that I've been attempting to cultivate in my life, just having fun for the sake of fun, for the sake of it. Not worrying about where it's going to lead to, not worried about, if I go to an activity, am I going to meet somebody there? None of that. Just doing things for the sheer enjoyment of it. And so one of the things that I would encourage you to ask yourself is, how can you be a little bit more playful in your life? How can you be a little bit more lighthearted, especially if you're someone that's really type A, or, you tend to take things very, very seriously. Now, listen, I'm not making light of anything that's going on in the world. There's a lot of serious things that are happening that are affecting people, across the globe, from police brutality in the United States to the financial crisis in Greece. I mean, there's a lot happening. But I think even in the midst of all of that, the way that we can enjoy our lives and get more out of it and be more helpful to people, essentially, is by taking ourselves a little less seriously. And so this is, like I said, this is something that I'm learning to do. I am by no means an expert, but I do think bringing the element of play into our lives, especially as women who might be, like I said, really serious and serious jobs, serious careers with a lot of responsibility, I think this is something that we all might want to consider. So if you're thinking about, ways in which you can be a little bit more lighthearted, if you think you take yourself too seriously, like I do a lot of the time, most of the time, I love to hear from you. So, leave a comment and tell me what you think. Again, lovetrina.com, and you'll be hearing from me soon.